Alright, good evening guys, good evening YouTube. Welcome to this next episode of the FPS Move Your Water Bottle out of the way of the camera, very good. This next episode of the FPL Family, this is episode number 23, our Game Week 11 review. Thank you to all you guys that are in the live chat already. As I was coming onto this, there's some flipping amazing scores out there, by the way. There's an 109 from Mark Nunes. Joe Finley-Badder's got Sterling captain. There's some absolutely outrageous scores. So, absolutely fantastic. So, guys, get in the live chat. Tell us you're here. Tell us where you're from as well. I always like hearing where you guys are from. And tell us what your game week score is, because there's some absolutely cracking scores knocking about today.
And then there's mine.
And then it hasn't been that bad, has it?
Oh, yes it has.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll come to team reviews a bit later on.
Doesn't have to go very
wooden
far.
spoon, is it?
Probably.
No way. No way. Well, listen, guys, we'll do our usual stuff. We're going to be reviewing all the fixtures. We'll be looking at where the FPL points have come from. We're going to be looking at our teams. We'll do the league updates, etc., etc., etc. Hoping that the FPL website is going to be updated in time for the end of the stream, because normally we need to wait until the following week, don't we, to see wooden spoons and things like that.
Well, there's a game tomorrow, so.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, I was going to say, how can I forget Huddersfield versus Fulham? But that is quite easy to forget. It's quite easy to forget. The Mitrovic owners are like, how dare you forget? But Huddersfield versus Fulham could be potentially a bit of a forgettable game, guys. But let's dive straight in. Let's say hello to you guys and find out who is in tonight. I want to see those scores, guys. There's some really good ones knocking about. So I want to see. Here we go. So let's have a look in the live chat. Right. Peter Gray is in. How you doing, Peter? 74. Not bad at all. Not bad. FPL Chancer is here. 78 points. Feeling the Sterling love. Look at that. Absolutely love it. Chris Cross is here. Hello from Norway. How you doing, Chris Cross? Rudradat, I think is how you say his name. Sorry if I've said that wrong. Hello from India. How are you doing? 88 for Joe Finley-Badder, who is in and moderating this evening. Thank you, Joe, for joining us. Here we go. It's going crazy now. Can't even keep up. Ibrahim Plazy, 45. Kill me now, he says. Oh, dear.
It's all right. You can join my club. You can join my club.
Marwan Markad, 56. Okay, not bad. Don Von Hall. Oh, it's just scrolled up. Hold on. Don Von Hall, 94. Took an 8-point hit, but 94. What a score. What a score. Leo is in and modding. Leo, thank you for joining us. All the way from Helsinki in Finland. 67 minus 4. I think that's going to be about par, Leo. I think that's about par, mate.
The average is 49.
Bad. Oh, is it? Is it? Oh, wow. He's way over then. You're way over, Leo.
Might not have updated from yesterday. That might have been yesterday's average.
It sounds like that would be yesterday's average, to be honest. Yeah. All right, we'll have a look at that towards the end. But 67, I think, sounds about par. Amonit's on 70. Needs a Mitrovic hat-trick. I thought you got rid of Mitrovic, Amonit, but he's sticking with his man. Fair enough. I can
only dream of 70. I'm on it.
Oh, is it that? But it can't be, can it?
It can't. Really terrible.
Oh dear, is it really? Okay, all right. Well, we will
Game week 12. Let's preview that. Let's preview game week 12. Forget game week 11. Let's talk about game week 12.
Stop the stream right now. Let's preview game week 12 and all get on with our lives. I love it. 99 points on a free hit. Luke Sanderson. Check that out. I mean, to play your free hit chip on a non-double game week is pretty ballsy, that, Luke. But to get 99 points out of it, that is a chip. Well played, sir. So well played. Excellent. Ted01, 62. He's reasonably happy with that. 62. Omkar Galsassi. I think I've said that name right. Hopefully I have. 47. Salah captain. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, me too.
It's tough. The Salah captainers will not be
Egyptian
feeling
King
it.
is not on my Christmas list.
He's right off of the Christmas list. And I'm going to go to this person next. The Egyptian Pharaoh is in. Hello, the Egyptian Pharaoh. Good evening, guys, from Egypt. 59. Look at Tom Sheehan's score. Tom Sheehan, 105. Are you kidding me, Tom? Oh, my God.
It's actually more than double my score.
There is like not only some outrageous scores, but a big spectrum of scores. What is going on this game week? Some real amazing scores and some pretty average stuff as well. MU Fan TV, how are you doing, buddy? 83, not bad for me. Yeah, I'd say that's more than not bad, MU Fan TV. I'd say it's very good indeed. Byri's in with 67. Captain Aguero, very good. Mark Nunes, 109. 109. Oh my days.
It's one of the highest scores I've ever heard in a single game week.
So Mark Nunes says 109 due to a drunk transfer, lol. So this is what we're not doing right.
What did you do, Mark?
Got to have a skinful on a Saturday night.
I need to know who you brought in. Who did you bring in and who did you take out?
Have an absolute skinful Friday night and then take in and do some horrendous drunk transfer, and you end up with 109 points, Mark. Absolutely awesome.
Who would you have got in for 109?
Well, he's going to tell us in the live chat, I'm sure. Jamal Rice is in. How you doing, Jamal? Jack the Cat. How you doing, Jack? Jatin is here. Carry256. He's got 43. Tough week for Carry.
It's okay. You can join me in my little woe is me club.
Okay. Are you above 50 or are you under 50?
No.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's just a 50k rank fall. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Peter Stead is here. Peter, there's a new name to the live stream. Not heard you in before, Peter, so welcome. Hit that subscribe button if you like what we do, mate. Greetings from South Africa. Love that. Love it. From South Africa. Very good. Mark Nunes did Hazard to Sterling captain. Oh, my. OMG.
Hazard to Sterling captain.
That takes some... Well, I was going to say that takes some balls, but it probably takes several Jaeger bombs by the sounds of it. That's what Mark's done there. Hazard to Sterling captain.
That's not as bonkers as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to have done like Jimenez in or something against Spurs.
But still, I mean, that is pretty good. Jim36, 69 points with Jimenez on the bench. Jimenez on the bench is going to sting. There's no doubt about it.
I'm just glad I played Jimenez, because can you imagine what would have happened if I hadn't?
Got a goal and assist, didn't you, from Jimenez, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that game was all my fantasy points.
And you must have considered benching him at some stage.
No, I didn't.
Against Spurs, you fancied him, did you?
Well, yeah.
Okay, very good.
We don't keep clean sheets very often.
You're absolutely right by the sounds of it. Neo4884 is saying 117 with Sterling triple captain. Now, seriously, is that, I mean, come on.
How many?
117. Is that a real score? I mean, if it is, that is absolutely incredible. I actually did see that
triple
the highest...
captain. If you've triple captain Sterling, I can
It's
see
entirely
that.
possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. I mean, I saw the highest score on Twitter just as I was coming on. It's 147. I mean, the guy that's 147's got literally everyone. He's got Arnautovic, Richarlison, Sterling,
That's
treble.
4 times my score. More than 4 times.
On it. Guys, I realised that this game would be quite split. I thought the spread of scores was quite extreme, but I didn't realise quite as extreme as it is. There's people like 110. I mean, this is absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Well, look, guys, thank you very much for joining. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. We'd love you to hit that sub button. We're at about 3.2, maybe coming up to 3.5, 3.2k. So we'd love you to join the in-law family and join us on a regular basis. Make sure you hit that notify button as well when you subscribe, so that you know when we're live and you get a little push notification on your laptop and indeed on your phone. And like the video and all that good stuff. We'd love you to do that. The Twitter page is on the left-hand side there. That's at FPL Family on Twitter. If you're not following us over there, go check us out on Twitter and at FPL Family on Instagram as well, which is where you can find Sam, and you can chat to Sam.
Don't bother at the moment. Don't worry about it.
Look,
Come talk to me next week.
Do we need to get this out of the way, this team thing, or do we do it at the end?
No, just leave it.
Don't
ever need to mention it again.
Well, listen, let's...
I'm already over it. I'm already ready to talk about Gameweek 12. Like, it's that bad that I'm already past it.
Well, I was going to say let's crack on with the games. We've forgotten to do one thing. We've got to do the polls. Guys, the polls, we've got 5 questions this evening. Thank you to those guys that responded to my tweet earlier today. We've got 5 questions from the community. Check out the little white eye in the top right-hand corner above my head. Go click that, and you'll find these 5 questions. The first question is, time to have Sterling over Aguero. Now, we are going to talk in quite a bit of detail tonight about Manchester City, although we seem to every single week, and we don't seem to be any clearer about who the best option is to have. But I think it's pretty clear that Sterling is staking his claim now, despite him being rotated a couple of times. He really is on fire right now. And that question comes in from Anwanit, so thank you, Anwanit, for sending that question in. The best third striker option comes in from at FPL_Elstato. So if you guys aren't following Elstato on Twitter, go check him out on there. Best third striker option, Ings, Success, Jimenez, Iheanacho or Rondon. Put the last one in there for a bit of a laugh. Out of the first 4, forget Rondon. Unless you really fancy Rondon. Come on. Made a difference, actually, I thought. No?
I mean, I love Rondon.
I've got my Rondon goggles on a bit there, haven't I?
I love him, but I can't. I mean, he's only played like 1 game.
He come on and looked pretty. He looked okay. But anyway, best third striker option, guys, out of those 5. Question number 3 from Rishi on Twitter says, Felipe Anderson, yes or no? One of the...
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, well, one of the... I was going to say one of the better performances, one of the standout performances. I mean, the guy could have had 5 goals at the weekend, and that's not an understatement. He was absolutely fantastic. He and Arnautovic played very, very well indeed for West Ham in a game that we'll cover a bit later on. So yes or no on Felipe Anderson? How do you feel about that guy? Bournemouth assets, how are we feeling? And I think we've had this question before from at FPLJP. I've had a pretty similar question before on either this stream last week or maybe a recent stream. Bournemouth assets, buy, sell or hold. It's a good question right now. It's a good question. I mean, they've come unstuck at home to Manchester United clearly at the weekend, but maybe a bit unlucky. I mean, the first half in particular, they were very good. Could have potentially scored more than one.
To lose it in the last minute the way they did was very unlucky.
Yeah, they're a bit unlucky. And the goal itself, Rashford's goal, I mean, clearly great composure from Rashford in the way that he took it, but it was poor from a Bournemouth perspective to concede that way, in my opinion. So buy, sell or hold your Bournemouth assets. Thanks to at FPLJP for sending that in. And then at Team Wolf FPL has sent in the last question about James Maddison. Keep or hold James Maddison. Oh, that
man.
Yeah, and I think that should get the live chat going a little bit tonight, James Maddison, because...
honestly, I have lost patience with that man.
Cool, you're on one tonight, aren't you?
It's him.
Oh,
he's
I can tell.
He's the one that I am most angry about. Him. Of all my team and the lack of performances, I mean... But Maddison is the one that really, really is just starting to grate on my last nerve.
You are on one tonight, guys. Don't expect any subtleties or any nice stats.
You won't get anything nice about Maddison tonight.
Listen, no niceties from Sam tonight. This is hashtag nasty Sam. This is.
Oh, no, I'm not nasty. I'm just angry.
Sam
with Maddison. I'm angry with Maddison.
Angry Sam. Hashtag angry Sam.
Just be glad you weren't with me at 3:00 yesterday because. Josh and A got the brunt of Angry Sam at 5 o'clock when the 3 o'clock's finished.
Lock on Kun. Aid is saying Maddison out. Peter Stead, Maddison out. Oh, here we go. Maddison or Vardy, Awuga Bricks is saying Martial for Maddison. Oh, not getting any love. He's got Burnley at home next, Maddison.
Yeah, but he can't. He just played Cardiff.
Can't.
He's just played Cardiff in the most emotional game when he should have scored or done something, and he's done nothing. I'm not holding him. I've had enough.
Oh, this could be an interesting stream, this, guys. This could be an hashtag Angry Sam stream. He's
gone.
After
Maddison
weeks and weeks and weeks of outstanding FPL performance.
What?
You've been brilliant. All season.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about Maddison. I was going to say, when's he been outstanding?
No, not Maddison.
Since I've got him, he's had like 2, 2, 1.
This is probably your worst week in about a year and a half, isn't it?
So it might actually be my worst week ever.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Don't say that.
I think it might be.
It can't be.
I think in terms of like individuals not performing, I think it's my worst week ever.
Oof, okay.
Maddison.
Ouch.
But Maddison is the one I'm annoyed about, not the others.
Maddison, right, well, we'll come to the Leicester game a bit later on. I would love, and what I'd like to try and cheer you up. So, guys, that's the polls. 5 questions, little eye in the top right-hand corner. Go check that out, and we will review those before we finish up tonight. I want to try and cheer you up. I want to talk about the Spurs game. We've been to see some fireworks with the kids this evening. Let's talk about the fireworks at Molineux, because that was a fiery game, was it not? A very, very fiery game. What did you make of it?
Kane scored.
Kane scored, which is very, very good. And actually, I noticed on the shots taken this game week, Kane is way, way up there with 8. The next best is Morata, Felipe Anderson and Jimenez with 5. So Kane, far and away, the most shots with 8 this game week. Do you think he looked getting back to his best, or was he still a little bit deep and a little bit not great?
He was a little bit off it until he scored. And him scoring that goal, there was a marked sense of relief and a sense of, right, I'm in it now. And he was a different player after he scored. I also thought he was massively better once Eriksen came on.
Dylan Nader is saying Kane could have had a hat-trick.
And I think should have.
Yeah.
Missed a couple. And I was, I should have followed my gut, which was to leave I had captain's armband on Kane pretty much all week, and I should have left it there.
Diraj is saying, warning, hurricane, hashtag hurricane is coming. Stick with him, he says.
There is absolutely no way on this beautiful earth that I'm getting Harry Kane out of my fantasy team.
Oh, goodness me.
No chance.
Despite the Aguero performance today?
Oh, Aguero. He's off my Christmas list as well. No, I'm done with Aguero. We'll talk about City later. I don't want Aguero. I've got other. I can tell you my strategy on City later when we get there. But Spurs. I'm definitely holding Kane.
So give me your thoughts, please, on a player that I have oft criticised on these live streams, and up until this season, I've been very not ever spoken really that positively about Eric Lamela, but. This guy looks bang in form right now. I think some returns, maybe 4 in the last 5 or maybe 4 in the last 4. Every time he gets the ball, looks dangerous. 6.4 in the game. Impressed me. And I haven't said that for a very long time. He really impressed me in that game. Eric Lamela, what do you think?
My issue with Eric Lamela is more, now everybody is fully fit. We've got a real problem I mean, it's a nice problem, but with Dele and Eriksen and Lamela and Son and Mora, there's too many players.
Options, isn't there, still?
And obviously, you know, with the Champions League and the Cup games, there will be rotation. There has to be rotation just by the nature of keeping all of those players happy. Plus, I suppose, you know, you throw into that Dembele, although he's now injured, Harry Winks, those players are Dyer, they're in there as well. So for me, Lamela is a bit of a worry because it seems to be Kane and Mora that play game in, game out. So Lamela at some stage surely misses out now, but he is in incredible form at the moment. He's playing really well.
Yeah. But so is Mora. Mora scored again, right? So.
Yeah. So it's tough at Spurs. It's much more tough to pick a Spurs midfielder this year.
I think it is. I think it really is.
And it's difficult because I thought we played well, particularly in the first half. I thought we played really well. And then I don't know, bless Foyth, I don't know what went on in his head to give away to just made two silly mistakes because he actually played really well in the first half.
I actually thought he was good. He was really good, and I know he's only 20 years old, so he's going to learn a lot from that game. So I mean, you've won the game, so all right, he gave away 2 penalties, but it's fine as long as he learns from it.
He will.
Don't consider him an FPL asset for any stretch of the imagination, but first half he showed something to me there that he's actually there's a player in there somewhere.
And he had played really well on Wednesday in the cup game with West Ham, but I thought we played really well as a team, particularly losing Dembele on 6 minutes. That has the potential to upset the apple cart because we have to change formation when Son comes on. Now Son's face, bless him, when he got taken off again 50 odd minutes later was an absolute picture. So I think from a fantasy point of view, it's quite tough to pick a Spurs midfielder at the moment. I'm not sure. Lamela's the form player, but do you trust him for starts? And that's why I'm just not sure.
Okay, so Barry Beckford is saying similarly. He's saying I'm staying away from Spurs just because there's 2 rotation. Not that he doesn't fancy him. It's really hard to pick one. Rudrat Jahala is saying only actual Spurs asset looks to be Trippier. So again, another very typical Trippier assist. So
it's difficult with Trips, isn't it? Because I mean, it was a fantastic assist. It really was. Lovely cross. Got 4 points. But in typical Spurs fashion, not 5 minutes before, he was on for 12, 3 bonus points, clean sheet and an assist. I was thinking, lovely, done. And then Spurs just do stupid things and we give away stupid goals. And so that's where the frustration with Trippier is. I mean, this week it actually didn't matter because in terms of defensive options, there were hardly any clean sheets. I think there was only 2.
Yeah.
So from a defensive point of view, to have a defender that's got an assist was actually a real good thing. So having Trippier was excellent. Am I going to hold Trippier? I'm not sure I am moving forward.
Interesting. All right. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. You guys are quite vehemently on the live chat talking about have a look at Spurs fixtures because Spurs fixtures from game week 15 look absolutely unreal.
Yeah,
so let's have a look at that. So we need to skip forward about 3 here, don't we? So bear with me. Let's have a look at this. Game week 15, sort by difficulty. Now let's have a look at the Spurs fixtures from 15. You're spot on, guys. Southampton at home, Leicester, Burnley, Everton, Bournemouth. So given that we are still, well, what is this? Game week 11. So you've still got 4 game weeks to go.
And in that 4 game weeks, we've got Chelsea to play.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's go back to game week 12. From November the 10th onwards and have a look at the Spurs fixtures in the short term, so the ones that are coming up. Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal, and then they get into the run starting with Southampton. That's 3 tricky-ish games. I know Palace aren't great at home.
So my thinking with Trippier was that I would probably lose him for a couple of weeks over that City, over the Chelsea and Arsenal period, because I don't see him keeping clean sheets in those games.
No, probably not.
In which time he'll probably have had some price drops because I imagine a lot of people will do the same over those fixtures, and then he should be fine to bring back in again. But it's difficult with Spurs to pick who you have, and I think the options really at the moment for guaranteed starts are Trippier. Although actually, having said that, the actual Spurs fan communities are very anti-Trippier at the moment.
Really?
There's a lot of negativity about Trippier
over his defending rather than his attacking, presumably.
Yeah, because people are basically during the game last night, there was a lot of talk about how unhappy people were with the level of defending that Trippier was doing, and how that was leading to people like Foyth having to making mistakes because he was trying to do too much.
Okay.
So my worry is that now Aurier is fit again. Do we start to see a bit of rotation in that Trippier position?
Okay, all right. Well, FPL Skinny Panda, who's our favourite name from last week, we absolutely love that. FPL Skinny Panda. Kane is surely a must-own when Atley and Ericsson and all the players that Spurs are waiting to come back comes back.
I totally agree with that.
He's one to have once the team starts looking right. Kane not doing enough for 12.5, Steve Wynyard says. I'm still with you, Steve, at the moment, but I'm very keen. I've got a close eye on what happens over the next 3 game weeks. I'm not looking to bring any Spurs in with that Chelsea and Arsenal game coming up, but from game week 15 onwards, as you guys have pointed out, Sam has pointed out, the fixtures look great. So I want to have a look at Spurs over the next 3 weeks. I'm taking a close look at them, see how that Ericsson and Ali and the Son returns to the team go down, see what that effect is on Kane, and then maybe make a decision going into game week 15 and have a look at it. For their part in that game, Wolves, I thought, despite being 3-0 down,
what a fight back.
I mean, yeah, very, very good fight back. They had a goal ruled out in the first half, which was a goal from what I saw, not wrongly ruled offside, which I think would have been a Doherty goal and a Jimenez assist and a Jimenez goal, which would have been amazing for the FPL community. So Twitter went semi-mental when that got ruled incorrectly offside. But as a Jimenez owner, you must be pretty happy with that. A goal and an assist. I don't know if he got any bonus points.
Yeah, he got 3.
3 bonus points. Okay.
Yeah, he got me 12. Jimenez.
Nice. Okay, good.
Happy with him. Very happy with it. Like, that game provided me with 12, 7 for Kane, 4 for Trippier.
It's a good game from your perspective.
So from my point of view, that game massively lifted my mood last night because my FPL game was in the bin. Like I think I said to Aid, he'll tell you, but I said something like, that's it, I'm deleting my team. And I went on a rant like he normally does to me. But that game was massively good for me. I thought Wolves looked, for a team that hadn't scored more than 1 prior to that game, they looked like there was a real momentum about them once they got that first penalty decision went their way. It was like, right, we're back on it. And that, what was that kid called? Gibbs White? Something like that?
Gibbs White, I think it was. Yeah, looked very, very
talent
good, didn't he? Yeah, very good.
Now, whether he's going to start starting games or not, who knows?
He played one ball through to Costa, didn't he?
Unbelievable.
And it was just the most sublime pass through, just to completely split the defence. It was very, very good. I'm not panicking about my Wolves assets. I mean, I must admit, for them to 2 weeks in a row concede 2 goals in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, that there's something there that worries me about their mentality. When they go 1 down, for them to go 2 down quite quickly and then to recover from 2 down against anyone, never mind Spurs, is very, very difficult.
Although we did our best to let them.
Well, Foyth did his best, didn't he? Yeah, bless him. But I'm not panicking too much about Wolves. I'm not massively invested in them anyway. I have Doherty, and as we saw, probably could have, maybe should have had an assist. Again, was getting forward. He was playing like on the right of a front 3 at the end. He
doesn't look like a defender,
Absolutely
does he?
Unreal. So I'm pretty happy to stick on Doherty for now, despite the kind of the clean sheets drying up. So I guess you're sticking with Jimenez for now, particularly after that performance.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, and weeks and weeks ago now, I used to spout about Jimenez and how good I thought he was looking. And I felt the same watching him last night. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched Wolves live, like last night. I haven't been on the telly as much. So obviously I've seen them on Match of the Day and things, but I sat and watched them play for 90 minutes. And I actually thought Jimenez played really well last night. Was getting forward in really good positions, had a goal incorrectly ruled offside, so really that 12 should have been more like 16.
Could have been a hell of a score actually, couldn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
So, from a FPL point of view, I'm going to hold Jimenez. I feel like in that price bracket, he's a good option.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm going to hold Jimenez, and I think most stuff that was going on in that game last night for Wolves was going through Jimenez at some point. So
he was pretty involved, wasn't he?
It feels like the right thing to do to hold him.
Yeah, okay, very good. So he was 4th for BPS overall this game week, actually, after Sterling, Morata, Aguero, and sandwiched between Aguero and Arnautovic is Raul Jimenez. So for 5.5, 5.6, whatever he is, looks like a bit of a bargain. Let's go next to West Ham. So West Ham 4, Burnley 2, where despite not looking too great defensively, West Ham, going forward, looked pretty good. Didn't seem to miss Yarmolenko too much. And a word on Felipe Anderson, because as we mentioned, just as we were talking about the polls, could easily have had 3 or 4 goals. I mean, he was absolutely unreal, Felipe Anderson. I don't know where he's been hiding that performance, but he surely now he warrants some attention, right?
100%. I think for me, and I think I said a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, I can't remember when it was, that my worry for West Ham is that Felipe Anderson and Arnie and Yarmolenko had made such a dynamic partnership, and they were playing so well together, that with the Yarmolenko injury, what would that mean for the other two and how they played? Well, actually, what it seems to have meant for Felipe Anderson is he's got some sort of increased right to be kind of in a forward attacking position, which from an FPL point of view, it makes me kind of go, okay, I need to pay more attention to this guy than I had previously.
So you've got neither him nor Arnautovic right now. So and Arnautovic clearly returning the points as well, not as many as Felipe Anderson clearly, but still doing very well. In fact, beat him for BPS. So Arnautovic walked away with the 3 bonus points, and actually, from what I saw in match today, could have had more. Arnautovic could have had more, maybe should have had more. So, which one of those two catches your eye the most if you were going to invest in a West Ham forward man?
Well, Anderson, because of his midfielder in the game.
Because he's classed as a midfielder. Okay.
So it makes a big difference, obviously, in terms of those positions. So I'm quite happy with my Jimenez and Kane partnership that I've got going on up front. That's fine. And obviously I've got success, but I never really planned for success to be doing much. It was just to free up some money. So I think I'm looking at Felipe Anderson as a midfield option. I don't think you can overlook those West Ham fixtures. Like, I know I've missed one of them with this Burnley game, but they've still got some lovely fixtures for the next 4.
Let's just review those West Ham fixtures so we can put some context around it. I think you're spot on. Yes, Huddersfield, the Man City game, which is tough, but then Newcastle, Cardiff and Crystal Palace. I'm not going to scroll right, but I think if I did scroll right, they look pretty good for a very long time. So if you're not invested in West Ham, and by the way, there was nothing defensively on display that made me think I really want to get on Balbuena or Fabianski just yet. Maybe I do in the future. But right now, I'm looking more and more at maybe a double up with West Ham. And I don't know whether Felipe Anderson and Arnautovic are the right players to double up on, but the young player, Diangana, and I think I've said his name correctly, and you guys in the live chat are all talking about this guy, 4.5 in FPL, and looks pretty nailed on with the Yarmolenko injury.
For 5 months, right? So
for a little while, he's going to get some game time. I think we're all kind of waiting to see how he got on. Well, he got an assist in this game and looked pretty dangerous. And actually, when he got the assist, when he was fouled for the penalty, which was his assist, he turned the fullback inside out, and it was a clumsy foul in the end. But Diangana, very, very tricky, looked pretty skillful. So at 4.5, I mean, the Tesso is saying, who is this guy? Yeah, you're right. Lokon Kun, Diangana, 4.5, and nailed. Aaron Chen, what do you think of Diangana? So, where is this guy? It's not come a bit out of the blue. Do you know much about him? Have we got any stats on him?
Well, the thing is, I don't think we did know much about him because Yarmolenko was playing so well.
Yeah, right.
So, when you've got a team like West Ham who, once they'd settled, and we talked about them early on in the season and how they brought in all of these new players and it was going to take time to bed in, and it did. It took them a long time. But once they got going and they knew where each other were, that partnership was really solid. So there was no shift in them 3. They were always going to play. So this guy was never going to really get an opportunity unless something like this happened. Now, with Yarmolenko out, he's looking like real quality. So
Hannah is saying, there's a nice point, Hannah. Is he nailed though, or would he rotate with Michael Antonio?
Well, they both played, didn't they? Or did
Antonio play at the weekend? I don't know, guys.
Yeah, Antonio got an assist.
Okay.
Did one of them? Did he go off for it?
We can have a look at that. But either way, I think this. I think Hannah's right to raise that as a potential rotation risk. But nevertheless, at 4.5, even if he misses a bit of game time, he's in the sort of Isaac success bracket, isn't he? Where you'd bring him in as an enabler, and if you want to bench him 1 week, you just bench him 1 week. I mean, clearly you're probably not going to play him at home to Manchester City unless you're really struggling.
Yeah. So Antonio came on for him in the 86th minute.
Okay, so it feels like he fancies Diangana then to start ahead of Antonio, but I think that's a good point, Hannah. I think let's just keep an eye on that and see what happens with the Antonio thing. But yeah, for Diangana to get the start, fair enough. All right, anything else to say about West Ham or Burnley in that game? Wood come up with a nice header, 6.2 in the game.
Well, there's Goodmanson again, who's just always ticking over the point.
He does tick over, doesn't he? Yeah.
Burnley aren't playing great, but he always ticks over the points. So, from a fantasy point of view, I can kind of understand those that have held him.
I think he's probably the only one that I would go out there and say if I was gonna have Burnley, I would go for that. But I'm not entirely sure. I really want to go anywhere near Burnley, to be honest. Yeah. One last thing on Diangana. He was top for chances created this game with Willian. So he and Willian both did 5. Pogba, Holibas and Salah then at 4. So he's top of the shot there. He's top of the shot. 4.5 with 5 chances created this game week. Definitely deserves our attention. Definitely deserves our attention. So there we go. Lots of fancy assets from West Ham for your radars, guys, particularly as the fixtures look good for a number of weeks. I do
think you have to be kind of a bit bonkers to not have some West Ham player in there with the fixtures the way that they are.
I think so, and I'm very happy to have Arnautovic. I mean, he's, despite this knee injury that he seems to be kind of nursing stroke managing, that is, I've watched him for the last few weeks. I know he was ill last week. It's annoying, right? But the last few game weeks he's played, he has looked incredibly threatening. He looks very, very good indeed. So I'm more than happy to be sticking on Arnautovic. So that's West Ham. Let's have a look at Everton 3, Brighton 1. So after 3 back-to-back clean sheets, why have you groaned?
Because we're going to have to talk about Richarlison.
Well, listen, he is not in any way the only Everton asset that's doing well right now. And after 3 back-to-back clean sheets for Brighton, to go away to Goodison and concede 3 was potentially a little bit surprising, but I was very, very impressed with how Everton played. So what did you make of that game?
I didn't enjoy it.
You didn't enjoy it? Well, just because of the Richarlison thing? Well, Richarlison was 5th for BPS overall this game week with 41. Again, played in that role up top, which a few weeks ago I was saying I really fancy him in that role, and then he sort of hasn't done the business in that role for sort of 2 or 3 weeks. He's come up against defences that have frankly bullied him a little bit. He came up against Sacco and Tompkins at Palace, and he got bossed out of it, frankly. He got bullied and bossed around, and he got sort of pushed about. And I think someone has said to him, come on, give it back a bit. And he definitely did against Brighton. He gave Duncan Duffy a real torrid time at the weekend, and he was putting himself about and not afraid to do the odd shoulder barge here and there. So very impressed with Richarlison in that role as the number 9 up top. So what do you make of him up top versus wide left? Do you think he's going to keep now that spot up top?
Well, I said last week that I just didn't rate him at all. And I didn't. I felt like he was playing in the complete wrong position. He wasn't in the game. He looked well out off of it for the last couple of weeks, playing in that number 9 position. And I just was not keen at all. And I don't really know what changed, but he was different in the game last night in that position. There was
a real confidence about him that we haven't seen for a couple of weeks, I didn't think.
Yeah. So, maybe it's time. The problem with Richarlison is, having watched him do absolutely nothing and look nowhere like doing anything for a couple of weeks, then he played really well in this game and came up with 2 goals. But, is it going to be consistent? I guess now we're starting to see more consistency with Everton in terms of the way that they're setting out. So that's going to help Richarlison in terms of FPL, because if he's playing in a more standardised position, basically up top, he'll get used to playing there, and then the confidence will grow. And I think that's what we saw in this game.
Particularly with that second goal, he took that he was very clinical with that. I know it came on the back of a defensive error, but he was just there sniffing the danger. And I like that about a player. Not only can he finish a goal, but he can read the game well. He can see when players are about to make a mistake, and he pounced on that mistake. I don't know whether it was Dunk or Duffy or maybe some other Brighton player, but it was a sideways pass, didn't work out, and he got straight in there and took it round the keeper very, very well indeed. So I'm pretty happy to have Richarlison. The Everton fixtures are a bit of a mixed bag. They go away to Chelsea next, then at home to Cardiff, which is nice, away at Anfield, which is difficult, and then home to Newcastle and Watford. So a real roller coaster. But outside
you sort of want him
that,
every other week in there.
You do, don't you? You do. And I think if you've got a strong enough bench, you're pretty happy to have Richarlison. If you're really counting on him to perform against Chelsea and Liverpool, then you may want to reconsider him. But
where are Chelsea and Liverpool games? At home or away?
They're away. So he's away at Chelsea and Liverpool, but then his home games, the 3 home games in the next 5, are Cardiff, Newcastle and Watford. Doesn't get much better than that.
Well, Watford no pushovers.
Well, for sure. But Everton at home look particularly good, right? So
sure.
I would be sticking with them. A word on Gylfi Sigurdsson and how creative he continues to be with
He's
another
the one.
assist.
He's the one for me. If I was going to have an Everton player, I'd want Siggy.
He's 0.7 more than Richarlison.
I know.
Right? So he's 7.5 and Richarlison is 6.8.
I just like the way Siggy plays. I think he for me, he's got much more about him. And from an FPL point of view, when I watch the games, Siggy is in all the places that I would want my FPL assets to be.
Sure. Okay.
So he's the one of all the Everton players. He's the one on my radar. But those fixtures massively put me off because I don't really want to invest in that much money in somebody that's got to play Liverpool and Chelsea if I can help it.
Okay, Siggy is FPL gold.
Absolutely.
Harsh Kumar Singh is saying. The Tesso, Siggy, a bit too expensive for him. Andrew Makado, Sigurdsson is expensive.
He is.
Leo Hakkinen, Siggy is better than Richarlison for me as well. So Leo is saying Siggy's his one if he was going to go anywhere. Will Hugel, Siggy is a luxury, so likes him, but is a luxury.
That's probably a fair point.
And Varun is saying Richarlison will outscore Siggy in FPL. So we're kind of split, I think. I think we're kind of split. Premier League Tips, FPL Tips is saying Soggy so bad. So I think he means Siggy, but I just like the fact he put Soggy. Soggy so bad. Very good. Richarlison is better at his price, Aid is saying. Then Awuga Bricks is saying Walcott all the way. Well, listen, I mean, let's not go back there. He missed an absolute sitter as well. Oh, Walcott missed an absolute sitter.
He for me is just a no option.
Yeah, a quick word on Everton's fullbacks. Both Digne and Coleman looked pretty good, I thought, at the weekend.
Well,
so Digne at 4.8 and Coleman at 5.2. Are we going to start to see the Coleman that we know and love? Has he come back now with a nice strike at the weekend?
Maybe.
Possibly.
But again, the fixtures, I don't want defensive options in there, do I? With Chelsea and Liverpool.
With Chelsea and Liverpool, I don't think you do. But
I think there's better ways I could spend my defensive budget than on Coleman, unless he continues to score goals. If he continues to score goals, then it becomes a really interesting problem is how do you fit him in. But for me, this is a wait and see on him because I don't think he's going to score every week.
Okay. All right. Do we need to say much about Brighton? I mean, they are top, I think, if not second. Yeah, top of the fixture ticker. So Cardiff, Leicester, Huddersfield, Palace and then Burnley. I mean, that is a quite remarkable set of fixtures for Brighton. So despite the defeat at Goodison, will you be keeping your Dunks and your Duffys and your Ryans and your people like that? I mean, is Kiedo, I think, played as well? So any thoughts on the Brighton assets? If you've got them, I think you keep with those fixtures.
I don't have any Brighton at the moment. But I am kind of pondering on Dunk quite a lot at the moment because he for the last few weeks keeping clean sheets. Then he popped up with a goal in this game, and he does like a header.
Duffy's been on the score sheet a couple of times already, though, so I think it's hard to split those two.
But I think if you were going to pick a defensive option, and then obviously you've got to throw Matt Ryan in there as well, because I don't necessarily know that you want both. Even with those fixtures, I'm not sure I'd double up on a Brighton defence.
Well, he was my transfer actually for this game week just gone. I took out Hennessy and put in Ryan in what could be the world's most boring transfer, but I had 2 free transfers, so I had to use it somewhere. And that's what I did. I bought Ryan in on the basis that, and I didn't play him actually this game week. I played Foster, but I bought Ryan in on the basis that the fixtures look so good going forward that I can just drop him in there every other week whenever he plays at home or whatever. So I'm pretty happy to stick with Ryan for now.
Because I think a lot of people have got Ryan.
Or at least somebody from the Brighton defence.
Yeah, right? So I don't know that I would want to double up though. If I've got the keeper, I'm not sure that I would be interested in having a defender. But in my situation where I've got neither of those things, it's definitely something I'm looking at.
Okay, let's have a quick trip to Bournemouth then. So Bournemouth 1, Manchester United 2, which was the lunchtime game then. So a game of two halves, I thought that actually. Bournemouth very, very good in the first half, and Manchester United were okay. I think they were amazing, but they were okay in the first half. And then again, it almost felt like they kind of turned it on, and when they want to, United are clinical when they want to be, but when they don't want to be, they're really not at all. Thoughts on Lukaku again being rested, if that's the right phrase, or maybe dropped? I don't know.
Left out
altogether. I mean, we can only.
Is it all right?
Okay, guys. Hopefully you can hear us because we just got a little message come up on the laptop here saying that OBS had disconnected for some reason.
Bit like Lukaku.
Why. Don't know why. Yeah, it was kind of as we're talking about Lukaku. Guys, tell us if we're back. Looks like we are. Cool. All right. So sorry about that. Who knows? That's never happened before with OBS. I don't know why that's happened. Let's continue where we left off and talk about Lukaku then, and hope that OBS doesn't mind us talking too much about him. Thoughts? I mean, United looked actually better without him. I thought Sanchez added a little bit of dynamism with Rashford and Martial either side of him. I think Mata started. I think Rashford might have come on.
Yeah.
But either way, Lukaku not being there was maybe a good thing.
Yeah, when we went out for lunch on Saturday, so we didn't see the first half, did we? We were listening to it, and it was and when the team news came out, and I said, "Oh, Lukaku's not even in the squad," and you said, "But that team with Sanchez playing and Martial,
it's been more fluid, surely.
That's the team that plays best." And it was. They won the game, right? I think I said earlier, and I still believe it. I think Bournemouth can count themselves unlucky not to have come away with something from that game.
Yeah, all your favourites looked pretty good, didn't they? The Brookses and there's even Stanislas coming back from injury looked good, and Wilson obviously on the score sheet again. Callum Wilson. I don't want to talk about Callum Wilson. I've got a history of Callum Wilson, but are we now mad to be ignoring Callum Wilson? Should we be getting him in at all costs? I mean, the guy seems to be scoring every single week.
Well, Callum Wilson does seem to be fixture proof. He seems to be able to score against everybody. And, I think if you get him, then I'm definitely not, because you'll send him backwards again. But yeah, I mean, Callum Wilson is looking really good at the moment. I think it's difficult with Bournemouth because it's harder to say than it should have been. The fixtures are quite mixed over the next few weeks. They do toughen up. Including this game, but we've seen from this game that there was fantasy points to be had from it with Callum Wilson, and
Fraser had a one-on-one as well, which he probably should have buried, but well done to the keeper for saving it. I thought Brooks looked pretty good again on that wing.
I really like
5.1. Not exactly investing a lot if you're going to buy Brooks, but you're getting some creativity there and some assists for sure.
I really like him. And the more I watch him, the more I like him, and the more I think he's good. My worry moving forward is that, obviously when Josh King, so they said in the press conferences this week that Josh King was a game away. He wasn't going to make it to this weekend, but should be back for next. Okay. So with Josh King coming back in a week's time, presumably he's going to play with Callum Wilson. Therefore, which one of those midfielders is losing their spot? With Stanislas just coming back from injury, I can't see that it's Stanislas. Is it Brooks? I'm not sure.
Be interesting. I don't think he can drop Brooks in the form that he's shown since he's been at the club.
But Josh King was playing really well before the injury.
He was.
So
he was.
It's tough, right?
I think for me, I think they're a hold. I don't think if you haven't got any, I'm not convinced you'd want to buy right now with the fixtures coming up. But equally, I don't know if I'd want to sell. I think I want to sort of just stay where I am with Bournemouth. I just want to hold. From a Manchester United
cheap,
perspective,
right? They're cheap, so
they certainly are towards that end. Yeah, I mean Callum Wilson for sure is good value. But let's talk about Manchester United and Martial as well as we're talking about Wilson. He is clearly a player that we just surely can't ignore anymore. I mean, what is it? 3-3, maybe even 4-4. I don't know, guys. You tell us. I think it's 3-3 for Martial now. Jose just cannot drop him, right? To the point where we sat here last week and said, well, if Sanchez comes back, then we're not convinced that Jose is going to keep hold of Martial and keep playing him. Well, I think he's totally changed his tune on Martial because he's actually dumped Lukaku to fit in Sanchez and Martial. So what are we saying about the Frenchman here? He's bang on form, is he not?
Yeah, he is, absolutely. I really struggle with the United thing. I really struggle with it because every week I look at them and I think I really should get a United asset. I really should have one. They're starting to play better. And then I look at the squad and I think I don't want a defender. I mean, I think I heard something like they've conceded 18 goals so far this year. And they only conceded 21 or something over the course of the whole of last season. Yeah,
so I don't think anyone defensively is catching my eye for sure. And I don't, it's been said a few times on Twitter. I mean, I remember the last time David De Gea had a really, really convincing game, actually, which is a bit of a weird and wonderful thing to say given his history. But going forward, we shouldn't be discounting Martial or indeed Rashford.
No, but then Rashford came on, didn't he? So Rashford didn't start the game, came on. So it was Martial, Mata, and Sanchez. So you look at those and you think, right, well, I just really struggle with who to pick. Martial is the only one really that kind of stands out as a constant, I guess, over the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks, however many games it is that he's been playing now, that's constantly starting, but that's also constantly getting points. So he's the one that I'm kind of pondering on.
It's the Manchester derby, I think, though, next.
Well, I'm not doing anything
for them, isn't it? So I don't think you'd want to bring them in because of that. No. But equally, their fixtures after the Manchester derby, let's take a look at that. Where are they? They're here. So Palace, Southampton, Arsenal and Fulham. So then 3 home games at Old Trafford between 13 and 16 with a couple there. The Arsenal game's going to be tricky for sure. But Palace, Southampton and Fulham, if Martial's going to get a bit of a run in the team, which I think he's going to by the looks of things, There's 3 nice fixtures there you'd maybe want him for, right?
Yeah.
7.2. What is he in the game, Martial? He is... I haven't read it. Oh, I have 7.4. Yeah, 7.4. So he's gone up a little bit since we last spoke about him. But yeah, one to look out for. All right, let's move on from Manchester United versus Bournemouth. Where else can we go? I don't want to talk about all of these games.
Leicester.
All right, well, let's briefly talk about Leicester then, because it's in a tough week for them, right? I mean, I know we're all sitting here thinking, they're going to go out there full of emotion and they're going to just, blitz Cardiff, but they've had a tough week. I mean, come on, they've had a very tough week, and
they've had a horrendous
there's
week.
no doubt about it. I mean, after the game, I think they all more or less have got on a plane to go to Thailand to go to Vichai's funeral. So it continues to be a tough time at Leicester, clearly.
For sure.
So I don't, the fact that they've come away with a 1-0, I think they've got to be applauded for that, right? And it seems insignificant to talk about FPL, of course. But what's your take on Maddison then? Varane is saying he's playing too deep. MU Fan TV, Maddison out. Paul Jones is saying, Maddison, I need an upgrade. Maddison is the new Christensen. Fool's Gold Aid is saying. Maddison to Felipe Anderson. Kirsten Gonzalez is saying. Maddison out for Martial.
Yep.
Guys, he's playing Burnley at home next. I mean, come on. Somebody in the live chat, stick up for Maddison. Let's hear you.
Every single thing that you've just said is 100% my thoughts. He has annoyed me that much. And look, this game week was always going to be difficult for Leicester, and it was always going to be a tough game. And credit to Cardiff as well, to be honest, because they did a really good job with the beginning of that game. From a new fantasy point of view aside, Cardiff were fantastic. So but going back to FPL, it's tough with these Leicester players because we've got on the likes of Maddison or Vardy on the basis that they had this lovely run of fixtures, but even within this lovely run of fixtures, Leicester just aren't performing in the way that I would want them to perform. And I've invested a fair amount of my midfield money in Maddison, and he's returning nothing every single week. And I get
because he's not super cheap anymore, right? He's up into the 7 bracket somewhere.
And I get the fixtures are nice for Leicester, but like you've just said, they got on a plane straight after that kickoff and flew out to the funeral. I don't know when they're back. But that's going to be even if they're back tomorrow, that's a horrendous couple of days that they've been dealing with that. And I can invest my money in someone like Felipe Anderson or Martial, who is constantly performing from an FPL point of view and playing in a much more attacking position than Maddison is. Maddison's just not getting into those positions that I would want. He's playing in nice balls if they get free kicks, or if there's somebody in the right place, he's playing nice balls into them, but there's just not enough people attacking in that Leicester side. Okay,
so he's 3rd for crosses this week after Holebas and Digne. So that tells you all about the fullbacks at Watford and Everton. So Holebas first, then Digne at Everton, and then Maddison for Leicester. A few of you guys in the live chat saying that actually Maddison's just been a bit unlucky. He is there creating chances. The guys aren't just putting them away, right?
And that's the problem though, isn't it? Because when you invest in someone like Maddison, you're reliant on the forwards or other people from within the side, the likes of Maguire in set pieces, the big guys from the back, sticking them away. And they're not sticking them away. So from a fantasy point of view, that means I'm not scoring points. And that's a lot of money that's just been sat around for 4 weeks now doing absolutely nothing. Might even be 5 weeks now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to take him out, I think, before Burnley. I mean, I watched the Burnley game. And they were pretty bad. I know they got a couple of goals, but they were pretty bad. Burnley, they conceded a lot of shots, they conceded a lot of chances, as we've said before in these live streams. So, for me, if Maddison blanks against Burnley, which is at home or away, I think at home to Burnley, if Maddison blanks in that game, there's a pretty good case for getting rid of him because of all the other options in that price bracket for sure. But for me, he's got to stay for that Burnley game. You cannot get rid of your Leicester assets before Burnley, surely. Unless
you're going to Felipe Anderson, because West Ham have got a nice fixture too. So.
Well, possibly. A shout for Camarasa in that game, a 4.5 million midfield enabler, or maybe not even enabler. I mean, Cardiff were not going to say they were unlucky in that game, but they did put up a bit of a fight. There's no doubt about it. Camarasa took a direct free kick that hit the bar. So if you're looking for a nice cheap midfielder at 4.5, and we've already mentioned Diane Garner from West Ham. If you don't fancy West Ham and you want somebody from Cardiff, I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but if you do, Camarasa is one to look at, and one that I know Tom from Who Got the Assist has been bigging up in the last few weeks. So definitely gets in the right positions and is on a lot of set pieces. You guys in the live chat also mentioning the handball. You're absolutely right. I mean, the ref in that game, I don't want to talk too much about the ref, but
the ref was dreadful.
Me, just had an absolute mare. I mean,
book the guy.
What is he doing for booking Gray for taking his shirt? I mean, what an absolute tool.
The ref should be punished.
And then he completely missed the handball. I mean, Sol Bamba basically saved it, right? And, you know, Vardy and all the Leicester players surrounded the referee, which I don't normally like seeing, but they got absolutely a case. Point. Absolutely a case there. I mean, that's a red card for Sol Bamba, and then it's points for Vardy, and then they're down to 10 men, and, right? Then you might get points for Maddison. So I'm not going to blame Lee Probert for the mass exodus of fancy managers getting off of Maddison, but there's a case there, isn't there? There's a case for sure.
He was terrible. The ref was terrible.
So for me, Leicester assets hold for at least one more week until that Burnley game. Let's go quickly to Arsenal versus Liverpool then. 1-1 in that game. A very, very good game of football, actually, I thought. What did you make of that scoreline? Who did you have in your FPL team from Arsenal and Liverpool?
Robbo and Salah.
So Robbo and Salah,
Captain
So
Salah.
The Salah captain thing was a bit of a shame, really, because I don't think he actually played too badly. But again, not amongst the BPS system. Obviously, didn't get anything other than a 2-pointer.
I'm not getting off of him.
Yeah, it's hard to get off of him because you've got such nice games for Liverpool coming up. And I actually posted a tweet after the game that said between that Arsenal game away and the Arsenal home game, which is at Anfield on the 29th of December, so we've got a good 7 or 8 weeks before that game, the Liverpool fixtures look very, very good indeed. So I think if you've got Mane, if you've got Salah, if you've got Robbo as well, and even Trent Alexander-Arnold, actually. I thought Trent had a bit of a tough game, actually. He had a tough game. He looked pretty good to start with, but when Iwobi come on in particular, I was very impressed with Iwobi. So, some of you guys are saying, like Dylan Naidu, time to sell Robertson. I'm not convinced, to be honest. I'm not convinced. I think the fixtures are good enough that you should keep your Liverpool assets. So what do you plan to do?
I'm going to keep both my Liverpool assets. It was a poor captain decision. It came out of kind of a little bit of a panic, to be honest, with the news that Hazard was only going to play for potentially 45 minutes. I was a little bit like, shall I leave the captain's band on Hazard, or shall I not leave it on Hazard, or I don't know what to do. And then it was on Kane, and then I thought, in all honesty, I thought just before I went to bed on Friday night, because as you know, I only make those decisions on a Friday. I actually thought, don't put your Spurs goggles on. Pick a captain who is in form. So I went with Salah over Kane, and it was the wrong decision. But moving forward, Salah is in form. He's looking really good at the moment. The last couple of games I've started to see the Salah of kind of old in terms of getting back amongst the score sheets and all that sort of stuff. And I thought he played well in this game. So I'll be keeping him. And Robbo the same. I don't think Robbo's been bad. You know, at the end of the day, I said it on the last stream on whatever night it was, Thursday. I wasn't playing Robbo because I expected him to keep a clean sheet. I expected Arsenal to score. I was expecting it to be a high-scoring game. What did I say?
Sure.
There was like on
And
average, there's like
historically
5.4 goals per game or something on average. So I was expecting high scoring. I played Robbo on the basis that he's attacking, and therefore I thought there was potential for some attacking returns for him. I'm going to stick. I can't. The Liverpool fixtures look too nice, and Robbo's been too good for me this season. I'm not getting rid.
Yeah, and I think you're a bit unlucky with Salah. I mean, let's have a look at his chances created. So he was second for chances created after the aforementioned Diane Garner for West Ham, and then Willian for Chelsea. Salah, Pogba and Holobas are then next in joint second or joint third, however you want to look at it, with 4 chances created. So it wasn't as if Salah wasn't posting some decent stats. He was. And there was one absolutely delicious ball that he played for Virgil van Dijk, where Virgil got up for the header and I think it hit the post. So he's definitely still posting those stats that suggest to me that you want to stick on him, I think.
I'm happy with Salah.
A word on Virgil. I mean, he could have actually had a hat-trick that game, Virgil van Dijk. I mean, easily hit the post. There was one where he was 1-on-1 with Leno, and Leno played particularly well. I want your thoughts on Arsenal, though, because I probably haven't watched as much of Arsenal as I probably should have, because I watched that game and I was thoroughly, thoroughly impressed. I mean, I thought that Emery, by bringing off Aubameyang, was sending all the wrong signals out to the team. I thought he was just like, we're taking off probably your best striker, arguably. I mean, Lacazette would have something to say about that. But he brings Aubameyang off, and I thought, as a Liverpool fan, I'm sitting there going, oh, great. He's taken off one of their key threats. But what he did was he put Lacazette and Welbeck up top, suddenly gave us something to think about with the two up top. Iwobi came on, and Arsenal fans, tell me what you think of Iwobi. Taking his fair share of criticism over the Wenger years, right? For sure, Iwobi, but looks different class Iwobi at the moment, absolutely unreal. He played a brilliant ball through to Lacazette for the goal. Lacazette took the goal incredibly well, whilst Welbeck was moving some of the other defenders around. So a lot of love for Arsenal. I know you won't not like hear me saying this, I'm sure, but I've got a lot of love for Arsenal, a lot of love for Emery right now and the way they're playing. I think Lucas Torreira, although he's not an FPL asset, looks like an absolute player.
He was man of the match, wasn't he?
Absolute player. He is just fantastic. He's reminds me of Kante, actually, the Kante at Leicester and the Kante at Chelsea, where he was just he will run down everything. Very, very good indeed. Very impressed with Emery. That's now 13 games, I think, without losing.
Come on, the London derby.
Yeah, so when is that? I want to have a look at these Arsenal fixtures and have a look at when are they going to drop points, these guys. Wolves at home, you've got to think they're going to do well in that. Bournemouth away. Spurs at home, game week 14, and then Manchester United away. Those two games are going to be big, big games, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Any thoughts on Arsenal before we move on?
I would like an Arsenal player, and I've been pondering on which Arsenal player for a while now, because my issue is that I don't really. So please don't take this the wrong way, but I don't really want Lacazette or Aubameyang because they take up a forward space, and I'm happy with the way that my forwards are working at the moment. I'm happy with a real cheapie, sure. And then Jimenez and Kane. So I'm looking at new midfielders really, or defensively, and I can't quite work out who my best bet is from Arsenal at the moment. Like I keep looking at them and thinking, well, who's the one in those areas that I really want? Like I don't want to go back into that sort of issue I had with Mkhitaryan, when I had him and then he stopped playing and it's like always coming on for a minute or two here or there. So if I'm going to pick an Arsenal player, I need to be sure that I'm getting the right one.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few of you guys are saying that actually Torreira, who I was just bigging up a second ago, is actually getting the best out of Xhaka. Now, I think you're absolutely right. I think Emery, whatever he was doing, putting Xhaka at left back previous game week, I think he realised his mistake and he's put him back in midfield. Torreira, I think, does get the best out of Xhaka. Xhaka played very, very well at the weekend against Liverpool. Probably the best game I've seen him play in an Arsenal shirt. I mean, the Arsenal fans will, I'm sure, come up with a performance where he's played better, but I don't watch as much as Arsenal as some of you guys do. But the times that I've watched Xhaka, I've not been mega impressed ever with him. But at the weekend, I really was. Really, really was. So, yeah, not much else to say about Arsenal other than they look very, very good indeed. Very, very good indeed. So let's see what you guys are saying. Xhaka is not an FPL asset. No, I agree. Although he does seem to be getting in some nice positions recently, by the way. Let's see what else you guys. Xhaka is an FPL asset, to be honest. Look on Kun is saying. So there's a bit of disagreement
and he's an
here.
Arsenal fan, so.
And Aid is Arsenal, so we'll take his word for it. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Kolasinac, a good option now. Varan Satish is saying. Maybe. I'd want to see a bit more of him first. Let's see how he gets on, getting back into that side. So, yes, listen, absolutely keeping an eye on Arsenal assets. They look very, very good indeed. All right, where to next? Let's rattle through.
City or Chelsea, they're the last ones.
Let's rattle through these Sunday games. Let's talk about them together then. So, City, absolute demolition job on Southampton. I had Aguero captain, so I was pretty happy with that. I know a lot of you guys, some of you guys in the live chat were talking about Sterling captain. If you had Sterling captain, absolutely sensational stuff. 2 goals, 2 assists for young Raheem. Can we bring him in now, or do you bring him in? I mean, you've not got any City attacking assets, right? So where's your thinking right now? Which of those 2, or indeed any others, you want to get in?
So I had a plan, as I told you all on Thursday. Which was that I was going to wait until after the Manchester derby and bring in KDB. That was my plan. And then we came off the stream, put the last of the football on, and he'd done his knee. And it's like, right, you're out for 6 weeks. Now what am I supposed to do? Because obviously to get to Sterling, in terms of price, I'm struggling. If I want to keep the likes of Salah and Kane as well, it's almost impossible.
Yes.
So what I had thought when I heard the KDB news, I thought, right, what I'll do then is I'll go Mahrez, because Mahrez has been playing constantly for the last few weeks. He's looked really good, so I'll go for a Mahrez option, and then that will allow me to cover not having Aguero because I'll have Mahrez, and then I've got a City attacker. That was my thinking. My plan was to not do that until after the Manchester derby. And then this game week happened.
Going into this game week with no City attack was risky.
I knew it was a risk. I knew it was a risk. I knew it was a risk, but I hoped that the rest of my team, the likes of Maddison and Fraser, would perform and that would counteract whatever City did. They just didn't.
So the Tesso is saying, dare I say, Sterling is essential now. Can we put him in that bracket? He still gets rotated every now and again, the Tesso.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Even Aguero, like I've been banging on. How long have I been banging on about how I can't... he annoys me because of the 60-minute thing, and then he played 90 minutes today. It's just like, honestly.
I think the message is you've got to have one of those two, haven't you?
I think
You've got to have somebody, and those two look like the main protagonists.
I think you have got to have somebody.
Dan Van Hol, Sterling is more essential than Aguero now.
I agree with that.
Really?
Yeah. See, I do agree with that. I think of the two, it's Sterling over Aguero. It's just how you find the money for Aguero, because you look at the fixtures that Spurs have got coming up and that Liverpool have got coming up, and I look at them and I think, I don't want to lose Kane and I don't want to lose Salah, and I know that I can downgrade Salah to Mane, but I really don't want to. I really don't want to. And
you can't have them all.
No, and I look at Mahrez and I think you're in the right price bracket for me to be able to get there.
MU Fan TV, Aguero is not a must-have. He's not a must-have, okay. The Tesso agreed Sterling is the one to get. Let's have a look. What else are you guys saying? Aguero is consistent, but not Sterling. Okay, Aaron Nair is saying Aguero is more nailed on, and today he played the full 90. Rushil Jossi is saying,
he did, yeah.
So he did actually get a full 90 today. So I wonder whether that's because he had a nice rest and didn't play in the cup, or whether that heel injury is now okay. I don't know.
Or whether he's just not going to play in the Champions League.
Maybe, yeah, potentially. But listen, I think having no attack for the league's most attacking team, that's something that you need to do something about that. You need to get at least one of those guys. Defensively, City, a few of you guys are saying, is Mendy still an option? No clean sheet for today.
Well, the thing is,
I think it's the first week where he's not returned something of 6 and above. So I'm not panicking, but I would have liked to have seen City keep a clean sheet at home to Southampton, who have not scored for ages.
To save that penalty. I'd have really liked Edison to have saved that penalty.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I think City defensively. I've only got Edison still. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I don't know whether I'm going to just bite the bullet and upgrade my second keeper so that I've got because I've got some money in the bank now.
Okay.
I haven't decided yet. I think what I'm going to do is make one transfer, probably a keeper, and then roll my other one for next week and have a mini wildcard after the Manchester derby.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a problem. I don't think you need to get off Mendy.
I don't think so.
Mendy never plays as well when Sané plays. It's always the same.
Well, do you know what? This is something I'm kind of interested to find out a bit more about, and I'm going to watch Match of Day 2 tonight and a few other things, and look at the effect that Sané is having on Mendy, and whether Mendy is quite as gung-ho down that wing with Sané playing. I don't think he is, and to that end...
hence why he's not on the scores today.
Yeah, maybe. And 6 goals, and Sané's got a couple of assists there, and a goal, actually. Yeah, you're right. And Mendy not involved, which is a bit disappointing. Now, I don't think Mendy's a bad option by any stretch of the imagination, but for a maybe 0.5, 0.6 less, you can have Laporte. You can switch and have the goalkeeper if you wish to have the goalkeeper. I don't know if maybe even John Stones played today, who's a bit cheaper. I don't know if he did. So actually, you've got a lot of options around Mendy, which could save you a bit of money if you're not going to get those attacking returns that we're expecting from Mendy. But for now, I'm pretty happy to stick with Mendy. Chelsea 3, Crystal Palace 1. Now, this is the game we missed a bit of because we were out doing the fireworks and
we
stuff.
Watched the first half.
So I don't know too much about it, but I did see a quote from Sarri as I was coming on here on Twitter, saying about how Morata has really adapted his game recently. He feels as if he's now physically a bit more up for playing the Sarri ball system in the Premier League. He still sounds like Sarri was still saying he's got a way to go mentally, potentially. But 2 goals today for Morata.
Baby's a bit older now.
Should
be sleeping.
Yeah, potentially. Should we be looking at Morata, or am I going a bit crazy? I mean, one good game does not an FPL player make. What do you think?
No.
You don't think so?
We've just been speaking about how hard it is to get, Aguero and Sterling and all these other players that you want, and then you throw Morata in. Well, Morata's done one thing, and I still think he's a rotation risk with Giroud. For me, no. I think there's much better assets at Chelsea when you look at the likes of
4-4 Morata, and what it is saying.
I just don't.
So it's not as if he's had one game.
I just don't. I don't think that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think that he's worth a forward spot.
Okay.
An expensive forward spot.
All right, let's just review those Chelsea fixtures again, because I remember thinking they've got a few nice home games. Everton, and then a trip to Spurs, which is obviously difficult. Fulham at home, Wolves and Man City. So they're towards the difficult end, but the Everton game and the Fulham game in particular, at Stamford Bridge, you've got to back Morata if he's playing.
But most people now have got Hazard, Alonso,
Barkley,
the curse of the most transferred in player.
Yeah.
So most people have got those assets already. To add in another one from Chelsea, it's a lot of budget on Chelsea. So for me, there's better ways you could spend that money up top.
Okay, Big Ben is saying Barkley is the new Walcott. Yeah, I don't think we should panic too much just yet. I mean, he had a couple of good games and maybe not so good game today, but let's see. Morata though was top forwards in the BPS system, 57. Ferraseth is saying should have had a hat trick today. So, it's.
It will be interesting to see.
He's on the radar. He's on the periphery of my radar. If Sarri's coming out with comments like, he's adapting his game to the way that he wants him to play and things like that, then that's the sort of thing you want your manager to say about your main striker. He might be saying it just to boost his confidence a bit, but Dan Van Hall is saying Morata is a no-go, very dodgy, and as you pointed out rightly, that he is potentially still a bit of a rotation risk. So. Listen, he's on my radar, but he's firmly on the periphery right now. He's firmly on the periphery. So those are the games, guys. Those are the games. Let's have a look. We didn't mention
Watford. Sorry, Joe. They got no seconds today.
We're talking Newcastle 1, Watford 0. Let's not even go there. I mean, I'm not sure.
What happened?
Yeah,
let's not mention it. Just pretend it didn't happen.
Pretend it didn't happen. For Joe's sake, I think we should pretend it didn't happen.
He's had a good game week. Let's pretend the Watford didn't happen.
Let's not bring him down. Do you know what I mean? Let's not bring him down. And Huddersfield Fulham, I'm kind of interested to see how many goals each side can score there. But remember I said in the last stream, I'm backing a Fulham clean sheet in that game, but we'll see. So here's the scores on the doors, guys, for this week. Let's see if it's updated. I hope that it has.
Oh, God.
It can't be that bad, Sam. It cannot be that bad. Here's my team. I'm going to zoom out a bit on my browser so that you guys can see it a bit better. Hopefully that's... let's try there. That's probably a bit better, isn't it? So, 76 point size, which I'm pretty pleased with. I'm very pleased with, actually. Richarlison and Arnautovic are the stars of the show. Absolute stars of the show. Brilliant. The Ram defence has got a lot of making up to do in the weeks coming up. Mendy, letting in that 1 goal out of 6. Robertson, all right, no clean sheet away to Arsenal, but Fulham next. I'm not getting rid of him. And Alonso popping up, I think, with obviously an assist and 1 cheeky bonus point. So I'm pretty happy with him returning another assist this game week. So I'm happy with that. Hazard on the bench. It's a bit of a funny one for me, and I know a lot of you guys are thinking about Hazard out. Is this back here injury really a problem? And it kind of feels like typical Hazard, doesn't it? 2 or 3 game weeks, and he lulls us into this sense of he's absolutely essential because he's smashing teams left, right, and centre. And then he becomes this really frustrating FPL asset to own. Well, where have we heard this before? I know, every season. It's a Hazard down to a T, isn't it? I'm essential. No, I'm not. I'm just getting a bit injured and I'm sort of getting 2 pointers. So, I don't know. I'm absolutely keeping for now. I don't see, with a couple of nice home games coming up, I don't see a reason to get rid of him per se. But Richarlison and Arnautovic, very happy with that. Obviously happy with the Aguero captain as well. Game week rank was 314k, up to 37 overall. So I'm pretty happy with that, given where I was a few weeks ago. I was down in the 200k somewhere, not feeling too good about my team. But 37, I'm pretty happy with. So 76, I'll take that for this week, and we shall move on. Do you want to have a look at your team?
Yeah, you can look at them.
We should do.
They're a
49. Okay, 49. So let's have a look. Average points 49. So it's not as diabolical as you're saying it is. It is average. It's average. So talk us through the team. How did you get on?
Kane, Jimenez, Trippier, Alonso, Hazard, fine.
That's half the team.
Yeah, but then you look at the others. Maddison's the one that really grates me. I expected a little bit more from success against Newcastle, but I didn't bring him in to score me massive points. He's just there as a bit of an enabler, so that's fine. Fraser's a bit frustrating because I think he could have had something out of that Man United game. Maddison he's really wound me up. The Salah captain thing just didn't pay off. It's the captain thing that's done me.
It is the captain. Although, if you look around your team, who else would you have captained? You're not going to captain him.
Well, it was on Kane for most of the week. So, it would have been, a few points more. 5 points, 4 points more. So, it wouldn't have made a huge difference. But 4 points is 4 points.
Sam's team looks great for next week. Dan Van Hall
This
says.
is the thing, and this
Leo's
is where...
saying, Sam, you're setting your standards too high.
Yeah, maybe. I think for me, I'm annoyed by this week. I expected to be annoyed by this week. Because I didn't have any City offensive players.
Ketan Banjari is saying, and I'm sitting here with 34. Pipe down, Sam.
Oh, sorry. They've really frustrated me. I look at the majority of them, and I think for next week you've got nice fixtures. I'm looking okay. It's just Maddison.
Okay, all right, okay.
And Salah captain's just not paid off, and that's where the big key is. If your captain's done something, you feel all right about the game week, don't you?
So 49 points, a game week rank of just shy of 3 million, overall rank 108k. So listen, 108k. There's people that would dream of being in 108k. So listen, your team looks all right for next week. I don't think you need to panic there at all. It's an average game week. There's no doubt. It's average, but. You've got absolutely something you can work on there, and 108k is not the end of the world at all. So
it'll be fine for next week. Next week I'll be fine.
I think you're right.
No Maddison.
So before we banged against Burnley,
God, that'll be typical.
So let's have a look at the FPL live stream regulars league. Let's see how you guys are getting on now. I'm not sure whether this is always updated or not actually, but let's have a look. We've got to have a look at Richard. Sorry, Richard, that we always pick on you every week, but we're going to have a look. 62, he's up into 416, which is still amazing, by the way. Still absolutely amazing rank. But a little bit down on where he has been, for sure. Arnautovic and Aguero doing the business up top, but that midfield's letting him down. That Hazard and Salah in the middle with Maddison letting him down, no doubt about it. So 62 for Richard, still flying high in the FPL Family League. However, Ryan Foley is closing the gap, so he's only about 4 away from Richard now. So he's in at 580, which again is just an absolutely amazing rank. Sterling captain has done the business, and by the way, he still has Mitrovic to play. Mitrovic still to play. So in actual fact, should Mitrovic get a goal against Huddersfield, which is entirely possible, we could be looking at a new leader of the Livestream Regulars League. And he needs to get 4 points, so only an assist from Mitrovic. I don't know if Richard's got anybody else to play. Let's see. No, I think he's all done. He's all done. So Ryan, if Mitrovic comes in for you, we could be looking at another winner, or at least a new leader in the league. Let's have a look at some of these scores. There's Mark's team that we mentioned before. 109 for Mark. Absolutely sensational stuff. Aguero, Sterling, Richarlison, Arnautovic. Goodness me, that is a team, isn't it? He can even afford a 0 in there. Absolutely incredible, Mark. Well played, sir. Well played. 109. Fantastic. What else have we got in terms of scores? Let's see. Did I see an 86 for Hannah? Very good, Hannah. Very, very good
nice,
indeed.
Hannah.
Very good. 85 for Rushil. Superb. Absolutely superb. Alex Summerson, 88. Very good. Some lovely scores in here, guys. Luke Walkinshaw. Luke, round of applause for Luke. 82.
Definitely no wooden spoon going to you this week, Luke.
MU Fan TV, 84. Guys, anything in the 80s is absolutely sensational. No doubt about it. Let's have a quick look for wooden spoon. I can see Jamie Young at 32, which is a tough game week.
Jamie, I've sent you one.
Has Jamie had a spoon already?
Yeah, it's fast and bulbous.
Come on, Jamie. Get on the game. 32. Let's have a look. Could be Jamie. 37 for Jeff. Tough week, Jeff. That's a tough one, mate.
Jeff took a pint set as well, right?
Might well have done.
Yeah, I think so.
Might well have done. I think it's going to be 32. I think.
Has Jamie got anyone left to play?
Can we do 2 wooden spoons, or can we do it to the next person? Because I'd love to send Jeff as a wooden spoon.
Jeff won't like you for saying that. He's not very well either at the moment, bless him.
Oh, is he not?
No.
Oh, well, we should send him a wooden spoon then with our love. Where is it? 32.
He can put it on our little shelf he's got in his house with his manager mug.
So Jamie, 32, I think is officially...
No, look.
Oh, Mitrovic and Schürrle could save his game week.
Jeff, you might be getting a wooden spoon just because you might be...
So it could actually be Jeff anyway. Let's just have a quick look at Jeff's team. If he's got no Fulham, I think you're in trouble, Jeffers. Let's see. Keep losing him. Here he is. Saved by Dibble. 37 with Mitrovic to play and De Poitre, by the way, that could come in. So
okay, so it's tight at the bottom.
So it's tight for the wooden spoon. So guys, we will, as ever, update on Twitter and on Instagram as to who gets the wooden spoon. But at the minute, it looks as if it's between Jamie Young, Fast and Bulbous, if you're into that. Fast and Bulbous, I think is his YouTube name, and moderator Jeff Holt, who is a friend of ours on Twitter. So. Between those two. So we will update after the Huddersfield and Fulham game. We will do that. All right.
Oh, my rank's going to fall again, isn't it, tomorrow?
So the rank potentially is going to fall again with if Mitrovic and De Poitre and a few of those guys bang. You never know.
What was I on? 61, I think. Yeah. Yesterday night I was at 47k. I was well happy with that.
That's not bad. Yeah, it's not
47k. I thought brilliant. So now I've gone from 47 to 108. So that's not the best of days, is it?
You've got to be looking at that City attack.
No, the fireworks were nice and.
The fireworks were good. Yes, the fireworks were very good.
Kids had a nice time.
Apart from that, we've had a lovely weekend, haven't we? Apart from the score, it's been a lovely weekend. So, guys, thank you for joining. As ever, we've got still 290 of you in. I think we were up at 300 and something at some stage. So, guys, thank you for joining. Before you leave, we'd love you to go and hit that like button. Please go and hit the like button. If you're new around here and you liked our live stream tonight, please hit that subscribe button. We'd love you to sub. As ever, at FPL Family on Twitter. Polls. Of course the polls. Well done. Here we go. Look. Varun, polls. Amonit, polls. Ibrahim, polls. David Solis, polls. Do you want this one? Some of that gone. You need it more than I do, I think.
No,
you need it more than I do.
Well,
that's all right. I'll wash it up afterwards. Don't worry about it.
I'll just pour it into mine.
Don't worry about it. Polls, guys. Well done. Polls.
I wish this cough would go away.
I wish this cough would go away.
As much as Maddison would go away, I wish this cough would go away.
Here's your first question poll. What do you want rid of more, Maddison or your cough?
Madison.
Madison. You can't get rid of Madison with a Strepsil, though, can you?
I wish I could.
It's got Burnley at home next. Burnley at home, Sam. Right. Polls. I've lost my train of thought. Time to get Sterling over Sergio. So, Sterling over Aguero, yes or no?
Yes,
you fancy he is the one to have now from City. The community disagree with you. Only 31% are saying that Sterling should be getting him in over Sergio. 68% are saying no, get Aguero or hold him if you got him.
Because he's expensive.
I think so. Well, he's not that much more different to Aguero, is he? Don't think so. Both in the sort of 11-ish bracket, aren't they?
Yeah, true. But who do you get in 9 bracket?
Best third striker option success: Jimenez, Ings, Iheanacho, or Rondon.
It's still Jimenez for me.
I hope somebody's voted for Rondon. Somebody has. Excellent. Well done, whoever voted for Rondon. Jimenez in at 67%. Success in at 18%. Ings at 9%. Rondon at 3%, above Iheanacho. Go on the Salomon. So Jimenez, overwhelming favourite there. Felipe Anderson, yes or no? From what I've heard from you this live stream, I think you're quite keen on Felipe Anderson. 67% saying no. I'm going to go out there and say that's mainly because of the Arnautovic.
Because I've said?
No, I think it's the Arnautovic factor.
Oh,
I think
okay.
People will fancy him. I think people will fancy Arnie over Felipe Anderson and won't fancy the double up. I think that's what that's about. So, but yes, at least a third of the guys that are tuned tonight say Felipe Anderson, yes. Bournemouth assets, buy, sell or hold? I think we said hold, didn't we?
I think I'm holding.
I think we said hold.
I think I'm holding.
So 78% hold, 14% sell, 6% buy. So overwhelmingly, let's keep your Bournemouth assets for now. Time up for Maddison, yes or no?
Yes! yes!
Yes, get red.
54%. Closer than I thought.
That is, do you know what? It's not. I'm amazed by that. Over half of you guys, 54%.
If I keep him and he blanks again, honestly...
Can
you imagine what I'm going to be like next Sunday night?
He is absolutely worth. And by the way, he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th for XG underachievers this week, guys. So he's unlucky.
Because he's useless.
His underlying stats are good. His teammates are bad. But the law of averages says that the amount of chances and shots that Leicester are going to have against Burnley, he should get something. But nevertheless, 54% of you guys are saying yes, get rid. 45% saying no, keep. So... a mixed bag on the Maddison front. A very, very mixed bag. All right. Ibrahim plays. He says useless.
Useless, man.
Useless,
Maddison. Useless.
Absolutely useless.
He's Walcott in disguise.
Oh, goodness me. I did see actually a tweet not long ago. And it was somebody had done this like GIF where Maddison slowly turned into Dusan Tadic. It was just like he's on sort of Tadic levels of trolling right now, where he's got all the underlying stats, the eye test is all good, everyone thinks he's great, but actually...
Who thinks he's great?
Guff.
Not me.
Guys, that is Mads' pants, Wolfman says. Oh my goodness,
I agree
with you. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this.
I think we're going to struggle for a midweek stream this week.
Are we? Why? What's going on this week?
Well, you're out Wednesday night.
That's true, I am. What's happening Thursday?
I'm at the AGM, school AGM.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Well, it could just be me doing a little Periscope on my own then Thursday night.
Oh, how boring.
What do you mean, how boring? The guys look forward to that.
They won't. They want to see me rant about Madison.
They want to see whether you've got Madison out or not. Guys,
the only way we can do it is Friday night.
That's possible. It's possible. We'll see. But guys, thank you for joining for tonight.
Oh no, I can't do Friday. I've got to make a birthday cake.
Because it's the little girl's birthday, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Little's birthday. All right. Well, listen.
And we can't do Tuesday because it's Spurs and Liverpool in the Champions League.
All right. Well, so we'll see whether we can squeeze in a live stream for this week. It might be a bit difficult. But let's see. Some of the guys are saying, Sam, we want to do an Instagram live on Wednesday. Can you do one of those potentially, or maybe we'll do a Periscope or something? I don't know.
We could maybe do something Wednesday night once you get back from your grading.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see how we go. So, guys, we will try and squeeze one in somewhere, but it could be a bit tricky. But nevertheless,
it's a cake, yeah.
But nevertheless, thank you for joining this evening. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button before you go, that'd be great. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Make sure you hit the little notify bell as well when you subscribe, so that you know when we're on, or etc. etc. At FPL Family on Twitter, where we'll let you know who the winner of the wooden spoon is, whether it's Fast and Bulbous or whether it's Jeff after the Fulham game tomorrow night. We'll obviously keep you updated as to whether there'll be a live stream during the week. At FPL Family on Instagram as well. I think Andy is going live, or maybe even has started early actually. So go up to the YouTube search bar, search for Let's Talk FPL. Go and check out Andy's live stream. And we will see you very, very soon. Well done this week. Some amazing scores this week. Some absolutely amazing scores. So well done. And we will see you very, very soon. Cheers, guys. Good night.
Take care, guys. Have a good week.